Alright. So, hello, my name is Peter. I'm the analyst. That's at least how I like to call myself on Twitter. This is a first episode in a first video in a series of videos I'm gonna release in the future. I'm gonna pick up on my YouTube channel, releasing game reviews, VOD reviews, champions why they're good, why they're out of the meta, why some should be played more than others. And I would like to start this by talking about one of my favorite champions in the game, which I've been playing for a long time, and also one of the most broken champions in the game. Like, let's not be delusional. He is one of the most strongest champions in the game for like forever. He finally got hit by the nerf hammer a lot of the times in the recent past months. He got reworked, he got buffed, he got nerfed, he got buffed again afterwards, and stuff like that happens. So I will also do a separate video about how to actually play Kassadin, what builds you should go, and so then let you understand. Like, I'm gonna talk about why, like how is he standing right now in the meta, and then his viability. But then I will also make a separate video how good he is and how to effectively play him so you get those results which I'm talking about. So because you could say like he's good, but if you have no idea how to play him, it doesn't help. So but I want to make separate videos because this is more about reasoning, and the second is more a guide in how to play Kassadin, play and build him with like matchups and stuff. So yeah, this is also like my first introduction video because this is gonna be the first new video released on my channel. Alright, so let's talk about first how he was at 5.3. Like, so this is about 5.4 and after. So but first 5.3, he was picked and banned in a lot of games professionally, right? Solo queue as well. He was banned a lot. He was picked, I don't know, a lot. I picked him pretty much every game I could, so I guess a lot. Yeah, and just I know he was banned a lot as well in ranked. Plus, competitively, he was still tearing up there because there are multiple reasons. Mostly because he has one of the best laning, and his post-6 mobility is insane. He can catch people off guard. He has a shit ton of burst. Quite tanky. You have pretty decent. You can sort of even engage from the mid lane, which is kind of weird because you don't actually have CC, but you can go in, deal a ton of damage on squishy targets. AoE slow them for a second, but it's pretty big slow, and then Hourglass, and then your team can always follow up on that, and you're just such a good cleanup as well, because he is a reset champion without having to have resets. He can just do it because his ult comes back up the whole time. Like, it's pretty much the same way. Like, Katarina or Kha'Zix work, and definitely why Kha'Zix was good because he had resets and he had a ton of damage. Kassadin does the same thing, but he doesn't have to get resets. He can just do it anytime he wants, and like his mobility, his damage. He's also really good against LeBlanc lane, which, in my opinion, why at 5.4, but it was a very short time, 5.4. LeBlanc should have been one of the best picks, and she kind of was, but she was not that prioritized as much as I would have thought she would be. But she was super good because Kassadin's the only one who has a very good laning phase against her, and then Sad as well. But for the APs, Kassadin was one of the best. So let's look at the difference in 5.4. Why he was not. People dropped him, ranked, nobody banned him anymore in solo queue. Competitively, we didn't see him. IEM 5.4 was there, introduced for the Asian teams, and was already played on 5.4 was already in the West. People didn't pick him. People didn't give a shit about him. Good reasons. So what we see here is like the range difference went from 700 to 450 on his ult, which is a lot. It's a lot. 250 range was an incredible amount. First of all, for people who were used to playing Kassadin, I was like, whoa! It was very weird getting used to it to begin with, and it was so short. You felt like you missed your E's a lot. Engaging was very, very difficult because normally you stay in like poke range. Teams when they like battle each other a bit, they stay in poke range of each other, right? So, with 750 range, you could cross that poke range, apply your abilities, and then cast Hourglass or just try and run back. But with the 450, you had to go in the poke range. You had to go in, and you got hit by odd attacks before you can actually jump in and deal a lot of damage. So it was really it was not very viable, and people were really like, we don't want to do this. The engages are way too hard. Laning phase, well, it wasn't very similar for most of the time, but just fighting was a lot harder, chasing was a lot harder. And then to counter this, they did reduce the base cost of Rift Walk, means like, because you cost it, it's 75 mana, then it's 150 mana. So with the nerf, it's 60 mana, you cost it again, it's 120 mana. I mean, the mana cost is still pretty high, and because the range was that low, it really, really was not fun and effective to ult in and try and deal damage, because it was really, really not very, very useful to do any. It was really hard to engage, it was really hard to poke even, because Kassadin is sort of a poker with his ult. You go in, QE, try and back out. If you played on the edge of your abilities, then you can just poke back out because they're still slowed, and you also jump in when they least expect it. So it was really and it was very legit that people saying, yeah, Kassadin, it's not worth it anymore. I mean, he was also a scaling champion because you need that elevation, so it was not worth taking it, and then because your effectiveness was really reduced a lot. Alright, now we got to 5.5. Like, right, realized that okay, we might have hit them a bit too hard. Let's change it a bit, and then you make those stupid ass jokes and fucking patch notes. Right, so they did, and the biggest thing they did was the cooldown, and also the rate increase, which 50 you would still say it's a lot less, but at least they buffed it, so it's a bit longer again, so you have a bit more range. But the cooldown reduction, this is really big, because this is base cooldown, right? At level 16, you have 2-second cooldown on your Rift Walk. Yeah, that's quite a lot. It's second down. In general, Kassadin plays don't build cooldown reduction, but they get it from blue buff. Elixir of, actually, does that still give? Yeah, it still gives. No, it doesn't. Oh no, that doesn't actually give. That doesn't give cooldown reduction. But also, a lot of people went CDR runes or can go CDR runes on the glyphs. So you get some extra CDR, which will put it a little bit lower, under 2 seconds. Plus, you have the 5% for the mastery. So in general, you can get over 20% easy, and then get to do 1.6 or 1.5, which is a lot. You jump a lot at that point. And also, they reduced the mana cost again with 10 mana. Now you go 50, 100 mana, 150 mana. So you can start stacking it up easier without having to. Still for 20 seconds that you have to wait before it resets, but you can jump a lot more, which is good because you jump a lot less far. So in general, you will have a good distance that you can cover with this. And with the increase in range, it was as well like you jump a bit farther, you can jump more, and you can jump more frequent. So that was a really good buff they gave him. But people still don't seem to have noticed it that much. Not many Kassadins we saw. We saw Frog and Play in LCS. They lost, but not really with Kassadin pick. It was slightly the Kassadin pick, but it was mostly because Gambit had like super good early pressure, and they were just being able to get so many territory game and snowballed their lead a lot. Gambit Diamond was just very effective. So if you then look in general, like what happened in Kassadin between 5.3. Remember, 5.3 picked and banned everywhere. Solo queue, it was owning everybody. Probably had a pretty huge win rate as well. I didn't check the win rate in general he had in LCS and stuff, but I can assume it was pretty big because Kassadin. Shifter won a lot of games with it, which he was like not impactful, and he picked Kassadin up, and he was very impactful. Again, it was like, oh yeah, see, it's just Kassadin. He is just like that, super strong, super solid. If you know how to play him, you can make so many plays and be so effective in team fights, and you just do so much damage. It's pretty ridiculous. So yeah, difference between 5.3 and 5.5. So yeah, you come from 700 range, right? We're just looking at ult. None of his other builds ever changed, so we come from his ult. So he had 700 range, the 5.3. How much does he have now? 500. So he has a loss of 200 range. Okay, that's about a third, a bit less, more. I'm not in the math right now. Wait, what? That's it's 2/7 really, so it's less than a third. So yeah, that's an okay loss, less than a third. Lose to 7th. That's about 30%, 28%, 28, 30% that he lost. So that's sad. So, but yeah, he nerfed his range. Man, we should not do math. And then he also but his mana cost from his ult got changed from 75 to 50 mana. So that's half. I mean, he lost half, not half, but 50% less cost on the mana. Actually, no, that's just a third. 33% less in general. I was saying half is 100%, so I don't fucking know where I was going that. So yeah, so he lost 25 mana cost in the end, so that's a third. He lost a third of his mana cost. So that's good, like, so you can jump a lot more, like, because now you need now you ult 3 times and you will only get to 150 mana. Well, I know, you go to 200, yeah, you go to 200, it's 50, 100, 200, otherwise you went from 75, 150, 300, so there's a lot less mana cost you have to pay for jumping around. Plus, in general, his mana cost, because this is what his cooldown, this was what it was 753, now it's 64, and 2 seconds, meaning you can jump a lot more. It should say it's not that good, but with the mana cost, well, I mean, it's good, but it's annoying because you get faster to the big mana cost, but since it's reduced, it balanced out. So in general, if you just look at his, people did the math about this, and it's about the same. Like, let's just quickly see how it goes, right? I can maybe just open up the thing that would be easier to explain. I mean, easier to show. So he has 500 range now, so 750. So let's say he jumped 3 times. So that's 1500 range you do. Like that, 2250. Oh wait, 50 range to now 1500 after 3 jumps. Right, so yeah, we do. I'm actually thinking, because yeah, I was wondering, I made a mistake, it didn't seem right, but that's because it's 700 range, and not, so it's 2100. I was wondering, like, it's weird, because I thought there was a difference in mana cost. Okay, so 2100 to 1500, so, alright, that's after 3 jumps. The mana cost for that will be 7550. 300, so that's 525 against now against how much now it is 50 plus 100, it's 200, so that's 350 equals 350 mana. But you'll do it also a lot faster. Let's just all assume this at level 16. So that will take. Actually, let's put it in more, like, so that's 9 seconds. So let's yeah, because this is a bad comparison. Let's say 3 jumps against 4 jumps on the new on 5.5. So that's 2000 range he covers. You have to realize now it's a bit harder to wall jump. You will screw up sometimes if you don't do it perfectly. Well, before you could literally you will never miss a wall jump at Kassadin, but now you actually sometimes fail them, so you have to practice them a bit again. Or just new. Alright, so that's then plus 300, so plus 400. Is 750. Okay, and we do that in 9 seconds comparison to the 8 seconds we would do before that. So, I mean, this kind of shows how it goes at the moment. And then I'm not even mentioning the damage, but this is just pure area you cover. So at the later stage, so mostly at level 16, if you cover in 8 seconds, you will cover 100 yards less, but you'll do it actually seconds faster for a slightly bit more mana. Of course, you'll pay a bit more mana, but it's not even that much. It's like what, 200 mana more. You have a big champion pool with Roll of Ages, and you'll often have blue buff and stuff. So that's not necessarily such a big mana pool, and you jumped 4 times. So like just in comparison of pure range, you'll pay a little bit more, but you do it a little bit faster, and it's about the same range. So like range is neglectable, but you'll pay a bit more. So in general, they nerfed his actual mana costs. I mean, yeah, they nerfed his mana costs. You have to pay a bit more than comparison to 5.3. We are making a comparison to 5.3 super OP. People played him all the time, got banned all the time, to now 5.5. People seem to totally forgotten about him. So pure range, you actually don't lose out much. You pay a little bit more mana, but you do the same times and you jump more. But then you also have to realize the fact that you jump more, which means every time you actually hit somebody with ult, you'll do more damage. Because they didn't differentiate the damage, and the damage increases the more you jump with his ult. So you get 4 hits, but if all of those hits are on enemies, you will do 4 hits in comparison to 3 hits before. You'll pay more damage, you'll pay more mana, but you will hit an additional ult, so you'll actually do more damage. So if you just purely look at it from a standpoint of 5.3 to 5.5, he has more mana cost for about the same distance you have to cover, but you do more damage for it. Of course, you're saying you use it for damage, but you often will use it. If you use it that often, you can use it just for damage. Because you also have to realize, if you're using that 4th just for damage, that 4th hit will deal more damage than that 3rd hit will do. Even if you only use 1, but it's the last one you use. In this graph, it's the 4th hit will do more damage than the 3rd hit you do before. So, like, if you just look at it, it's pretty much the same, except of course a bit shorter thing. But just in pure range, you can you follow up very nicely with how he was in 5.3, and about speed you do it in. Just for a little bit more mana, but also with more damage. So you just give up mana cost for more damage, which is a trade a lot of people are willing to make. Mana for damage is not something that it is ever such a problem. So yeah, that's how I see it, and then why he's actually not that different. And then I also want to point out, there are also leaks about his. They're gonna buff him again for some reason in 5.7, or maybe later, or maybe they're not gonna actually do it. That the cap on the cooldown of your ult, because it only resets every 20 seconds, will be reduced to about 15 seconds. But they put another add tool, so it will even buff him again. So that's, if you just look at it now, he's already as strong as 5.3 Kassadin. You could even say stronger, because if you just use it for pure dueling, you actually do more damage, because every time you ult, you'll do more and more damage. But they will also buff him again, so he might even just get even stronger than he was at 5.3. So, so what I said in the title, he's not stronger than ever. He's definitely not stronger than ever, because there were points where he was like totally just ridiculous. But he's definitely, like, you could easily make the case. I think I showed the numbers here. He is just as strong as he was on 5.3. People have not realized it yet, because maybe just look patch to patch. But if you just look comparison 5.3 to 5.5, it's less distance, but more often, for a little bit more mana, but also with more damage, because you do it more often. What's my standpoint? Like, eventually, like, you can see the numbers are there. Like, it's pretty much the same. But you can maybe say, like, yeah, but you want that extra range for engage. Like, how is he now competitive? Looking at, I think he's still there competitively. The problem is, he always had a problem with ADs, mid laners, because they can punish him, because you can max Q for easy harass. because the magic shield won't help you that much. So you don't want to pick him in pushing comms in Z lanes. Z Ezreal lanes are his worst matchup at the moment. Like AD Ezreals, AP Ezreals. I don't know why people even play that shit. It's not really good. Yeah, I think he's competitively like very, very strong again. People just need to fucking realize that he's strong and maybe adapt a bit to his range, because you should need to relearn him a little bit. If you are a long-term Kassadin veteran, you need to relearn like, oh, some walls. You can probably still do most walls, but it's not easier. You have to hug them a lot more. It's like relearning Flash after all the nerfs they put on Flash. Like you have to learn some wall hops again. It's still a lot easier than actually using Flash, but I mean, you have to remember it's not that long anymore. And solo queue, the fact that he is not banned that much anymore, he should be a prime first pick for people who fucking know how to play Kassadin. And I will, like I said before, put in another video, a video with footage on how to play a Kassadin and build and a good build pet. The only thing you have to do is ban Zed, preferably, because he's a bit of a pain. And then because you can't really win against him and you can get pushed in very easily. And you have no problem in lane phase against with Zed against most people, and his effectiveness late game, like mid late game, is still as good as before. I played him a lot again. I still haven't lost a ranked game with him. He is strong again, and people just like need to realize it. And that's why I wanted to make this video to show that Kassadin is back where he was at 5.3, just a bit different way. But if you can adapt to that way, that's not really hard. You just need to adapt to realize where your strengths are a bit more now, in like more jumping and a bit more damage but less range. And remember to you will want to now more than ever keep your E ready to jump then E, so you can get in range for the W, while before you often wanted to ult and W immediately. I mean, or ult close enough to use the W. Now you can just ult a bit further, use E, get in range, use W, so you can finish up your combos. So yeah, that was my little rant about why Kassadin, or how the state of Kassadin is at the moment. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want, if you have suggestions about topics I should cover, just let me know in the comments below. Thanks.